Africa has been known as the home of earthly resources, as obviously all people know that gold is mostly mined in Africa, platinum, rubber, copper. But not most people know that in Africa we also actually mine Bitcoin. Not in the sense of digging it underground as the graphic suggests, but there is a place in Zambia where Africans are mining Bitcoin. But before we get into the details on how they mine Bitcoin in Africa, let's first start to unpack what is Bitcoin as an educational presentation first. So the birth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a digital currency, and a digital currency works like for instance, let's say you have the pictures on your phone, the gallery is the wallet. So you keep your pictures in your wallet, which is your gallery. And then let's say I say to you, please send me 2 pictures. It's either you're going to send it to me via WhatsApp or you're going to send it via WhatsApp. And obviously the most convenient one is going to send me via WhatsApp. And then once you send it to me, I'm only going to receive a copy of those pictures, and you're going to left with the original. Digital currency works in that way, but the original doesn't remain with you, and I also don't receive a copy. I receive the original, so that you don't have to get to use the same picture all the time. So if you send me the picture, I'll receive it as an original and nothing is going to remain with you. So that's how digital currency works. It's like picture. It works on digital platforms. It's unlike, like, let's say if you're going to send me money from a bank account. No, you're going to send me the actual money and it goes into my wallet account. And I won't be able to withdraw it, as in the money that is with the bank account when it's transferred from a bank account. That is digital currency. And the person that actually created Bitcoin is Satoshi Nakamoto. And it's a person that is not known. No one knows who's Satoshi Nakamoto. But they are the guys who published a paper in 2008. So Bitcoin was born in 2008. By Satoshi Nakamoto, a person that was not known. And Bitcoin works in a process called blockchain. Blockchain is it's a blockchain. It connects in a computerized world, in the Bitcoin world, where it's computerized inside computers. So it ensures that Bitcoin is being manufactured, is being mined, and the miners are the computers. The computers mine Bitcoin. It's not the people that mine Bitcoin. People create the computers and the computers mine Bitcoin. And the way this blockchain works is that it ensures that Bitcoin is not duplicated when, for instance, you send me a Bitcoin in the analogs that are made of a picture. So that is the blockchain. And the blockchain ensures that no one else besides me and you can get to see what we are transacting with on the Bitcoin. On our Bitcoin wallets when you send me Bitcoins. So even the government cannot see it, even the banks cannot see it. And then there are other coins after Bitcoin like Ethereum, and there's even a Trump coin and other coins, but they work in a similar level with Bitcoin. And now the mining of Bitcoin, as I've said, Bitcoin is not mined by people, it's mined by robot computers that can solve quadratic equations in order to generate Bitcoin. So you might ask, how do I get Bitcoin? So Bitcoin is only mined in computers. And in order to mine Bitcoin, you must solve puzzles that will take, for instance, 10 years for a human being to mine. Or not 10 years, okay, I'm exaggerating, but it takes so much time for human beings to mine. And with these computers, we are able to mine Bitcoin in a short space of time. And it requires loads of computers in order for you to mine Bitcoin. So it's not like you're going to have to dig underground and get Bitcoins. I think that's fairly understood. And then the place where in Africa Bitcoin is mined is in Zambia. In Zambia, they have these Bitcoin mines, and they have them in it's not a shed, it's a container. Yeah, if you know those big containers where sometimes people host saloons there. In Zambia, they host the Bitcoin machines, the Bitcoin robotic computers to mine Bitcoin. So I would have loved for you to see the video of it, but it's on the BBC website where they showcase how the people mine the Bitcoins. So the advantages and disadvantages of Bitcoin are, the first advantage is that the government cannot see what's happening in the process, in the transaction. For instance, if you're to send me a wallet, or maybe you're going to send me Bitcoin, the government cannot see that it's between two people. So that's why the governments now don't really want to, let's say, legalize or make Bitcoin an official commodity in a way, or maybe an official currency, because it's hard to regulate it. So if the government cannot regulate it, it cannot tax it. And obviously, if you are in Somalia and I'm in, let's say, the United Kingdom, you don't have to have a bank account for you to send me money. You just need to have a cell phone and be able to transact and send me the Bitcoin. So as I've told you, anyone can get the computers to mine Bitcoin. Anyone can mine Bitcoin, but obviously the computers cost so much. So what do people do? They go to the Bitcoin exchange. You can find it online, where you buy Bitcoins. You're gonna buy them in a fraction because the price of Bitcoin is more than $100,000. So you only get to buy them in a fraction, and you're able to transact with them online. And because there's no middleman, there's no bank. Unlike, for instance, if you're going to send me money via your bank app, the bank will have to consult with the Visa. Visa is the one that controls the card, and to check whether in your card there's actually money. So there's no Visa with Bitcoin. There's no bank in the middle. It's only you and the person that you're transacting with, and the blockchain that processes all the transaction. And there's no one having to oversee and see what's happening in that blockchain. And with Bitcoin, there's only 21 million Bitcoins that can be mined. And this was, maybe Satoshi Nakamoto made this in order to ensure that Bitcoin is always in demand and is always having value. Because if something is limited and it is scarce, the value of that thing usually goes high, and it remains in that state because it's much more harder to find. And I don't think I have to make an example that you can think of one. And as I've said, even if you are in Bangladesh and I'm in Rajesh, you can transact with Bitcoin anywhere, anytime. And the disadvantage of Bitcoin is that because there's no government control, criminals can use that to, as you know, money laundering and doing some other criminalistic activities. And another issue with Bitcoin is that it does not have intrinsic value. So, for instance, it is not backed by a value besides the value that human beings put to it. For example, you see with gold, gold has value on its own without us having to input value in it. For instance, gold is used in cars, gold is used in jewelry, gold is it's a store of value. In other words, it's valuable on its own. It does not need for us to decorate it and make it valuable. But with Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin goes up because of hype. People get excited and buy Bitcoin, and the demand of it goes up. And also because the value of paper money is going down. So most people are going into Bitcoin because that's where most people are finding value. Because also Bitcoin is limited in terms of how it can be manufactured. Plus, another evil of Bitcoin is that it uses a lot of electricity. That's why I put that load shedding. But obviously, in other countries like Iceland, they get to mine huge amounts of Bitcoin because electricity is available there. But in South Africa, there are places where they're mining Bitcoin. I've heard Minecore, a company, might be mining Bitcoin, but there's not a whole lot because of load shedding in South Africa. And Bitcoin uses a lot of electricity, and that makes its future very unlikely because of the amount of electricity it uses. And another disadvantage with Bitcoin is that, as I've said, no one gets access to your Bitcoins besides you. And if you lose your password, you are not going to receive, you're not going to get your Bitcoins forever. So you must always make sure that you might write your password down or save it somewhere. But once you forget your password, you won't be able to access your Bitcoins. And I think that's it. I was trying to